Level 1. The modern colossus, Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk is the defender built for modern football's chaos. The speed, the transitions, the high lines, all of it fits his profile perfectly. At Liverpool, he became the missing piece that transformed the team from vulnerable to unstoppable. With him, Liverpool reached back-to-back Champions League finals, won the 2019 Champions League, and secured their first league title in 30 years. At his peak under Klopp, Liverpool were defending on the halfway line, and somehow you still felt safe because Van Dijk was back there, covering everything. He combines size, pace, and intelligence like almost no one before him. He wins aerial duels with ease, covers wide spaces, and stays ice-cold even against elite attackers. In the 2018-19 Premier League season, he famously went the entire campaign without being dribbled past once. His long diagonals to the wings became a trademark weapon in Liverpool's build-up. And for a defensive player, the output isn't bad either. Well over 40 career goals for club and country, including important headers for Liverpool and the Netherlands. What sets him apart is the calmness. You don't see panic. You don't see rushed tackles. He guides attackers into dead areas and closes angles like a goalkeeper playing as a centre-back. His leadership elevated everyone, from Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson to whichever partner lined up next to him. The whole backline moved with more confidence when he was there. Even after serious injury setbacks, Van Dijk returned to anchor Liverpool's defence with the same authority. He reads strikers' body language like a book, adapts to different match tempos, and dominates physically without ever looking out of control. Level 1 is the defender built for today. The prototype: tall, fast, aerially dominant, tactically sharp, press-resistant, and composed. And if level 1 is the lab-created monster for modern football, level 2 is the quiet genius who solved the tactical puzzle before anyone else even saw it. Level 2, the tactical fullback, Philipp Lahm. Philipp Lahm is what happens when tactical intelligence reaches perfection. He wasn't loud. He wasn't imposing, he wasn't a highlight reel defender, but he was one of the most complete fullbacks, and later hybrid midfielders, the game has ever seen. Lahm captained Bayern Munich to the 2013 treble, then captained Germany to the 2014 World Cup, leading a side that pressed, built, and defended with machine-like precision. What made Lahm special is how he understood space. Some defenders chased the ball. Lahm chased the right position. He could switch from right back to left back to midfield without breaking rhythm. Pep Guardiola once called him one of the most intelligent players he'd ever coached. And Pep has worked with Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. That's not exactly a small compliment. Lahm rarely fouled, rarely lost the ball, rarely misread a situation. His defensive numbers were elite because he controlled danger before it formed. When Bayern needed width, Lahm provided it. When they needed an extra midfielder, he stepped inside seamlessly. That inverted fullback role that everyone talks about today. Lahm was playing it naturally years before it became a buzzword. Across his club career, he quietly chipped in with more than 20 goals and a huge number of assists, plus 5 goals for Germany, and almost all of them seemed to arrive in big pressure moments. His crossing was precise, his build-up play was clean, his pressing was calculated, and even though he wasn't physically dominant, his timing in tackles was textbook. Lahm played hundreds of games for Bayern, won 8+ Bundesliga titles and a Champions League, and somehow managed to get through his entire senior career without a single red card. That alone tells you everything about his discipline and timing. And if level 2 is the silent genius, level 3 is the plot twist, the guy who looks too small on paper and then casually shuts down the world. Level 3, the undersized wall, Fabio Cannavaro. Fabio Cannavaro shouldn't have been one of the greatest defenders ever, not according to tradition. He was 1.76 meters tall in a world of 1.90 plus centre-backs. But what he lacked in height, he more than made up for with explosive leap, perfect timing, and one of the sharpest defensive minds in football history. Cannavaro captained Italy to the 2006 World Cup, leading a defence that conceded only 2 goals in 7 matches, and neither of those came from open play. That World Cup run was legendary. He won every duel, every header, every challenge. Opponents simply couldn't beat him. His performances were so extraordinary that he won the Ballon d'Or in 2006, becoming one of the very few defenders ever to win it. That tells you everything. The world recognized that his defending was the defining story of that year. His reading of the game was world-class. He anticipated passes before they were made, blocked shots without needing last-ditch drama, and somehow beat taller strikers in the air with perfect timing and absurd vertical leap. Across his club career, he scored 16 goals and added 2 more for Italy. Not huge numbers, but when a Cannavaro header went in, it always felt like he was rewarded for all the suffering he'd put strikers through. At club level, he shined at Parma, Inter, Juventus and Real Madrid. At Parma, he was part of a legendary defensive side that won the UEFA Cup and Coppa Italia in 1999. In Madrid, he arrived as a World Cup winning captain and instantly became the organizer at the back. His style was compact, low center of gravity, close control, rapid acceleration, and absolute fearlessness. He pressed forwards early, closed space fast, and never panicked. Cannavaro showed that defending is not about size. It's about how fast your brain processes danger. It's about timing. It's about confidence. He was nicknamed Il Muro di Berlino, the Berlin Wall, for a reason. Level 3 is the defender who proves that heart and intelligence can build a wall taller than any physical giant. The kind of player who makes every 1.90-meter striker walk off thinking, how did that guy win every header? From the undersized wall, we go to pure chaos energy. Level 4 is where defending gets emotional, messy, and absolutely unforgettable. Level 4. The Chaos Captain, Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos is the defender who lived in the most intense moments and somehow kept delivering. Ramos is controlled chaos, unpredictable, emotional, fearless, and absolutely clutch when it matters. He won 4 Champions League titles with Real Madrid, scoring in 2 finals and delivering the iconic 93-20 header against Atletico Madrid, one of the most famous goals in modern football history. With Spain, he lifted the 2010 World Cup and Euro 2008 and 2012, forming part of the most dominant national team era ever. But Ramos wasn't just part of the machine. He was attitude, a warrior, a leader who dragged teams through difficult moments. His stats as a defender are ridiculous. Over 100 goals for Real Madrid alone, more than 20 for Spain, and well over 130 career goals for club and country combined. That's centre-back numbers that look suspiciously like attacking midfielder numbers. Countless match-saving headers, and a defensive presence built on athleticism, timing, and that scary ability to win duels when everything is on the line. What defines Ramos is his personality on the pitch. He embraced risk, he played on the edge, sometimes over it. But that edge is exactly why Madrid kept coming back in big matches. He read games like a forward and defended like a gladiator. He excelled in open chaos, those seconds when the ball bounces, the box is crowded, and someone needs to act first. Ramos always acted first. And if there was blood, drama, and a bit of shithousery along the way, well, that was part of the package. His style was physical but intelligent, aggressive but calculated. He could bully strikers, but he could also outrun, outjump, and outthink them. Ramos is the defender who shines in storms. When pressure is brutal, when tension rises, when your heart rate goes crazy. Level 4 is the guy you want leading your line. The same man who might get sent off on a random Sunday in La Liga and then score the 92nd minute winner in a Champions League semi-final 3 days later. And while level 4 is raw emotion and chaos, level 5 is the total opposite. Ice-cold calculation, defending as pure geometry. Level 5. The defensive brain. Franco Baresi. Franco Baresi is pure defensive intelligence. Baresi didn't need speed. He didn't need size. What he had was a mind that ran faster than any striker he faced. He spent 20 years at AC Milan, captaining them for more than a decade, and became the backbone of one of the greatest defensive units in football history. Under Arrigo Sacchi, Baresi commanded the famous high line, a style that required insane coordination, perfect timing, and a defender brave enough to hold that line even when the entire stadium held its breath. He won 6 Serie A titles, 3 European Cups, Champions Leagues, and played over 700 matches for Milan. He scored 33 goals for the club, many from the penalty spot, and even managed a rare goal for Italy. For a centre-back, that's quietly impressive output on top of elite defensive work. But again, trophies and numbers don't fully explain the magic. Baresi had this ability to erase danger before it existed. You'd see a striker make a run, and you'd swear he was through. Then suddenly the ball was at Baresi's feet, and the move was dead. He could read passing lanes like a book and step in with surgical precision. And then there's his performance at the 1994 World Cup final. Baresi had knee surgery just weeks before. Everyone said he wouldn't return, but he made it back for the final against Brazil and delivered one of the greatest defensive performances ever. He played through pain, intercepted everything, commanded the backline, and pushed the match to penalties. Italy didn't win, but Baresi's display became folklore. His style was clean, minimal, almost mathematical. No wasted movement, no unnecessary tackles, pure efficiency. Watching him is watching someone who solved football before everyone else. That's why his shirt, number 6, is retired at Milan. Level 6. The Libero King, Franz Beckenbauer. Franz Beckenbauer didn't just play football, he rearranged it. Before him, defenders stayed deep, cleared the ball, and rarely stepped into midfield. Then De Kaiser arrived, and suddenly, the libero, the free man, became the most elegant position on the pitch. Beckenbauer turned defense into art. With Bayern Munich, he captained a team that won 3 consecutive European Cups from 1974 to 1976, plus multiple Bundesliga titles, and was the face of both club and country during Germany's rise in the 70s. As Germany's leader, he lifted the 1974 World Cup at home, directing play from deep like a general surveying the battlefield. What made him so special wasn't just defensive ability, it was the freedom he played with. He would step out of defense, break the first line of pressure, and suddenly Bayern were attacking with an extra midfielder. His stride was smooth, his passing was crisp, and his composure was unreal. He made the most chaotic part of the pitch look calm. He scored 79 goals in club football and 14 for West Germany. Outrageous numbers for someone nominally playing in defense. Modern football owes him a lot. Today, when you see centre-backs stepping into midfield and dictating play like deep-lying creators, that's the Beckenbauer blueprint. He expanded the job description. He made defending a two-way role, stopping attacks and starting them. And like Maldini, he wasn't just skill, he was leadership, the aura, the posture, the presence. When Beckenbauer was on the pitch, everyone around him looked more confident. You felt like the game was under control. And now we move to level 7, the final form. The defender everyone, from kids on the playground to Ballon d'Or winners, quietly measures themselves against. Level 7, the eternal benchmark, Paolo Maldini. Paolo Maldini is what happens when talent meets discipline and stays at the top for 25 seasons. You don't survive that long at AC Milan, through the Sacchi revolution, the Capello machine, and the Ancelotti golden era, unless you're built differently. Maldini played over 900 matches for Milan, won 7 Serie A titles, and lifted the European Cup Champions League 5 times. He scored 33 goals for Milan and 7 for Italy. But honestly, numbers don't really capture Maldini. His game was a masterclass in anticipation. He wasn't diving into every tackle. He barely needed to tackle at all. His positioning was so perfect that your favorite striker often didn't even get the chance to test him. And the craziest part? He was world-class in 2 completely different positions. As a left-back, he shut down entire wings during the late 80s and 90s. As a centre-back, he became the calm heartbeat of Milan's defence. Maldini at 19 was already starting in a dominant Milan side. Maldini at 38 was still playing Champions League finals like it was nothing. Even in 2003 and 2007, 2 finals separated by aging legs and 2 tactical eras, he was still there, still elite, still looking like the one adult in a room full of kids. His style was elegance with steel underneath. The way he would glide into interceptions, read passes before they happened, or guide attackers into dead zones. It felt like watching a grandmaster playing chess at full speed. There's that famous line attributed to him: "If I have to make a tackle, then I have already made a mistake." That tells you everything about how he saw defending. Ask any defender today who inspired them. 9 times out of 10, Maldini's name comes out first, because he's not just a legend, he's the reference point, the one everyone quietly compares themselves to, the one who proved that defending isn't just about force, it's about intelligence, longevity, and class you can't fake. And that's the full evolution. 7 levels, 7 legends, 7 completely different ways to master the art of defending. Now it's your turn. Which level are you picking? And who do you think deserves a spot in a future episode? Drop your takes in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. And if you want more football stories just like this, click one of the videos on your screen. Trust me, you'll love them.